Good evening. Hello, friends. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Oh, we are so excited that you are here tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to give back tonight. We are incredibly grateful that you are here. I'm Andrea McMaster, and I'm the president of Amplify Mission Network. And if you are visiting with us for the first time tonight, just a special welcome to you. We are grateful for you that you are here and you are in for a really special night. If you do have questions about how tonight works, or you have any more questions about Amplify, we do have people walking around with balloons tied to their wrist, and that is on purpose. That's so you can find them easily. They are our hospitality hosts, and they would love to welcome you here this evening. We have food catered here tonight by Grace-Filled Table, and Grace-Filled Table is a nonprofit as well. They believe in the power of community and food and fellowship, and so you're blessed tonight by their blessing of their food. So a round of applause for Grace-Filled Table. And thank you to Randy Hepner, who's been blessing us all year long with his gift of photography. And if you see the pictures on LinkedIn or on our website after this, it is such a gift to have those photos. So we are so grateful to Randy for his continually giving that to us each time that we host one of these AMP sessions. And I also want to thank our sponsors for tonight. So tonight is not possible without sponsors. We look for sponsors for each one of our AMP sessions so that they can really fuel financially what happens here tonight and all the support behind that. And so I want to thank our first sponsor, Tradition Capital Bank. If you aren't familiar, this is a bank that not only provides excellent service to its customers, but is incredibly generous in the community. And so a special shout out to a couple of those that I know that are in the room from Tradition tonight, and that is Christy Jacobson, Julie Anderson. So if you could stand. Thank you. And I want to thank our other sponsor tonight, True Talent Group. True Talent Group is a boutique staffing and recruiting agency placing best-in-class marketing, creative, and digital talent across the U.S. The organization matches true talent with true opportunity, and Stacy Stratton is the president and CEO, and also such a generous giver in our community. And so I'm so grateful for Stacy to stand and others from True Talent Group that are with her tonight, and a round of applause to Stacy. So these sponsorships, as I mentioned, truly do make tonight possible. And so we're looking for sponsorships for 2026. So if you work at a company that you believe might be interested in sponsoring, or you're owner of a company, we'd love to just chat with you and get you on the calendar for 2026. All right, so tonight I want to start with a story about a box of chocolates. Okay, I love chocolates. Is there anybody else that's a chocolate lover out there with me? Okay. So the sea salt dark chocolates. All right, thank you. You are my people. So several years ago, I had one of those days that turned my world upside down. And I had just received some really devastating news. And I was driving home. Actually, I don't even know how I got home because I was so in shock. But I pulled up in my driveway, and I can see on my front step that there is a box of chocolates. So I sit down on my front step, holding this box of chocolates in my hand, and tears are streaming down my face. And I whispered to the Lord, "Thank you, God, for being a God who sees me. Thank you for seeing me so much that you know how much I love chocolates. No, truly, Lord, thank you for being a God who sees." And there was no name signed, and to this day, I actually still don't know who that box of chocolates came from. But honestly, that didn't matter. What mattered the most is that it showed up at the perfect time on the exact day that I needed it most. And the Bible gives us the name for God, Elroy, the God who sees me. It was first spoken by Hagar, an Egyptian servant, who in her distress was comforted by the truth that we are never alone because we have a God who sees us. And that's really what Amplify is about too. Seeing the people and the needs in our community that many people often miss. Seeing leaders who are courageously serving and coming alongside them so they aren't alone and so that their ministries can thrive. As we've prepared for tonight, I've had the privilege of joining our fantastic business coaches alongside the 2 nonprofit executive directors that you are going to hear from tonight. And I've been struck again and again by how God has given these courageous leaders eyes to see. Melinda has eyes to see young single moms experiencing homelessness. And Jesse has eyes and a heart to see the Karen refugee community who's now made their home in St. Paul. And each of them has built a nonprofit to uplift and support these groups. And tonight, you all get to be a part of supporting their vision so that they can flourish. So here's what our evening will look like. In just a moment, you are going to hear from our guest speaker. And then tonight, you'll meet our featured nonprofit executive directors. You'll hear their stories, their mission, the impact they're making, and all their dreams they have for the future. And after that, we're going to do something uniquely Amplify. And that's when we open the space for all of us to brainstorm together, to imagine what's possible, and collaborate for impact. That session will be about 30 minutes of brainstorming time, and then we'll wrap up the evening. But before we continue with our agenda for the evening, I want to just go into a moment of prayer. So would you join me? Lord, we thank you that you are Elroy, the God who sees us. Help us, too, to be people who see, people who notice those in our neighborhoods, our workplaces, and communities who need encouragement and hope. Thank you for giving Melinda and Jesse the vision to see and serve the people that you've placed on their hearts. We ask you to continue guiding them as they lead. And Lord, would you also open our eyes tonight so that in our conversations and our collaboration that your name would be glorified and that impact would be amplified. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you. So now I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker, Eric Westrom. Eric is a former professional hockey player. For those of you who are hockey fans, you may know him from playing on the ice with the Minnesota Gophers or the Minnesota Wild. But what strikes me the most about Eric is not his time on the ice, but his heart to see. From young athletes who are struggling with self-worth to leaders in large companies who are fighting the invisible mental battles of stress and pressure, Eric has a unique gift for helping people discover their worth and live with purpose. So it is my joy to welcome Eric Westrom.
Thank you. Hello. Can you hear me? Growing up here in the great state of Minnesota, for me, it was not only the land of 10,000 lakes, but it was more, as we all know, is the state of hockey. It was the land of 10,000 outdoor ice arenas. Whether you're in Apple Valley, where I grew up, or Richfield, Minnetonka, up north in Falls. I grew up dreaming of playing in the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament in front of 20,000 screaming fans. I always wanted to wear the maroon and gold, like some of my favorite players, Darby Henderson, Neil Broughton, my dad, who was a captain there. I always dreamed of playing either at the Met Center, the X, which is now Grand Casino, playing with or against Wayne Gretzky, the best player of all time. And who could forget the 1980 Olympics miracle on ice, Mike Eruzione scoring the game-winning goal to take them to win gold the next day. But as an 8th grader, for me, I thought that was coming to an end because I had made the Bantam B hockey team. So for me, if I was not even the top 15 players in my own city, how was I going to be in the top 1%? How? I went home, my mom coddled me and said, Eric, you're the best. You could have, you should have. My dad said the same thing, but then also said, Eric, you have an opportunity. You can continue to do the same thing, and just be average like everybody else. Or you can step up, you can fail, embrace discipline, and have success. And to this day, I still have a quote on my goal sheet that I have downstairs for business and for everything else I do in life that says, the bridge between goals and success is discipline. The bridge between goals and success is discipline. And for me, I wish I could tell you I turned around that day and I looked at my dad and I said, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. But it didn't happen that quick. But what did happen is I realized I had an opportunity, right, to be a leader. I had an opportunity. And when you look at leaders, Andrea talked about leaders and being a leader and leadership. If you look at statistics, and we can use these tables, for instance. According to statistics, 1 in 10 people are considered a natural-born leader. So that means if you combine two tables, only one of you supposedly is a natural-born leader. 20% supposedly possess a trait to be a leader. So now we got better odds, 2 of you, right, might be a leader. And what that leaves us with is 85% of people are considered followers. Because when you look at the statistic, the majority of people follow. Yes, I wish that stat said 85% of people follow Jesus. Unfortunately, that is not true, but hopefully we can get there sooner and sooner and sooner. But what it is this right here. When you go on social media, you like something, then what are you asked to do? You're asked to follow. So you're being programmed to follow, but if you're not following the right leader, how do you know which way to go? And I think that's what you have to ask yourself is like, right, who are you and who do you want to be? Like, do you want to be a leader or a follower? Yes, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, but I'm also a leader, whether it's through discipleship, whether it's through business, whether it's through my family, whether it's through work, whether it's through speaking, community. And you have to ask yourself, like, are you willing to lead? Like, are you willing to lead? Especially now more than ever. This whole thing was done before, Annunciation was done before the Charlie Kirk incident, and what it speaks to me is you have to be bold and you have to lead. And you have the opportunity, right here, this is a safe opportunity to lead, so there's no better place to be bold. But when we go out there, it's a little different. And I think what excites me and why when I talk to Andrea about this is you guys provide hope. You provide hope, A, because you showed up, B, because you made the commitment, right? Like you could be outside in our 90-degree weather enjoying. I was hoping 2 weeks ago we were getting closer to the outdoor hockey rinks, but that shifted pretty quickly. And the third part is you have the team to thrive. Like right here, like this, I love it here because you have the place to thrive. Whether you want to input a ton or you want to sit back and listen, you have the opportunity, and that's why for me, I'm excited to be a part of this group. 2 months ago, I was sitting in your seat, right, as a participant. Tonight, I'm speaking to you, and hopefully in 2026, I can come with my charity to talk through like Jesse and Melinda are doing. But the reality is 33%, I speak all around the world. Last year I was in London, Ohio, Florida, Fresno, Dallas, everywhere. And this is true in this group right here. 33% of you, and I'm not saying you're the 33%, so don't take offense. 33% of people I speak to will leave here and do nothing. You'll do absolutely nothing. And I'm not shaming you or anything, but you will do nothing because you're afraid to lead. 33% of you are kind of on the fence, like, I want to hear more, Eric. I want to hear from Jesse and Melinda. I want to see, should I? And then you're going to go and you're going to take a leap of faith for maybe 2 days, at most 2 weeks, and then guess what happens? It gets hard. Your family, your work, your finances, and then you push the easy button and you do nothing. And then there's 33%, and that's my challenge to you, is to change that 33% in this room. Be that 33% that says, I'm going to be bold, I'm going to go from average to elite, I'm going to go from what I know to what I don't know, and I'm going to step up, and it starts tonight by impacting the 2 charities. Whether you think you know anything or you don't. I sat in that back table last time, and at first I caught myself like, I don't have anything to add. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We are all individually special, and we all have something to add value. And that's where we have to go. For me, I wrote the book Becoming Elite because of that. Because I was lost, and I looked back and said, how did I have success in hockey and in work and in life? Because as you'll see, I reinvented the wheel in the wrong way consistently. I had failure, embraced discipline, had success, and then I thought I could do it my own way and lean on my own understanding. It didn't work out. So what I want to take you through very quickly is the 4 pillars that I talk about in my first book. The first one is the psychological shift. What happens when you're around negative people? You're negative. Our world is so negative right now. You scroll and you read it, it's like negativity. Be positive. Be a positive person, because the power of the mind can change anything. And if I look at my hockey career, from 8th grade to 10th grade, I had to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Do you know the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset? Anyone?
Growth mindset, you believe you can continue and learn.
Yes, fixed, I'm like, I'm here, this is where I have to be. Growth, it's like, I'm going to go try and I might fail, right? Tonight you might say, you say it anyways, whether it applies or doesn't, but you're growing and getting outside of your comfort zone. So for me, I had to get into that growth mindset to be able to achieve something different. Second part was in my faith journey. Growing up Catholic, CCD, if anyone had CCD class, right? On Wednesday night, I was all in. The other 6 days, I was lukewarm. You read the Bible, what does it say about being lukewarm, right? You probably don't want to be lukewarm. I was lukewarm. I'm 46. I was probably lukewarm for 46 years probably, if I really look at myself sometimes, but for a majority. But that planted the seed for me at that same time. And I started to be curious. I started to explore who Jesus really was in my life. Second part is the physical discipline. And it's not just physical fitness. That's what I attached to because I wanted to and I had to have a job. Played hockey until I was 33 years old. That was a very important part. But it's talking about what are you going to do now to get what you want later? Like what are you going to do that others aren't going to do so you can get something? And for me, when I look at it, it's around discipline. So what is the difference between motivation and discipline? Action? Consistency? Yeah. So motivation, you do it when you feel like it. Discipline is you do it when you don't. My wife will tell you she thinks I'm crazy because I go to sleep in Lululemon workout shirt and pants. I mean, that stuff's like pajamas now. And I have socks in my pocket. Why do I have socks in my pocket? So when I wake up, my feet hit the ground, and I put my socks on, and I walk downstairs to my weight room. And I do the Pilates reformer, and I read the Bible, and listen to boo-joo-joo-joo-joo. It's like automatic, right? And that's the same thing in hockey. I had a sheet of paper, tag board with 365 days, and I marked how many times I shot the puck, stick handling routines, how often I worked out. And that is the only reason I made the varsity hockey team, played in the state tournament in 1996. It's going to be a 30-year anniversary. Played in the longest game, if anyone watches hockey, against Duluth East. Had 3 goals, and we won the state championship the next day against Edina. Are we in Edina? Sorry if you're from Edina. It's always good to beat Edina. But it was because of the discipline and doing it when no one was looking. It's what I was doing to get there. And at that same time, whether it's ironic or not, is I got confirmed. Got confirmed. And it was like the connection I had. I mean, I look back now, the connection I had learning more of like, what is confirmation to me? It's confirming my faith. And I had the opportunity to get confirmed at the St. Paul Cathedral. And it was one of the most important, impactful times of my life. And you'd say, Eric, oh, now you're a Christian. Yeah, kinda. But those other 6 days right? The world, hockey, full ride scholarship to the University of Minnesota. It was just beginning. And it was like, Eric, are you in or are you out? And I was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 2 feet in, 2 feet out. And it came full circle for me as I look at the spiritual shift. And that was realizing, like, I'm not in control. And I am in control, though, of how I react, what I think, what I do, where I go. But somebody else is in control of my plan, of my future. And I got to just surrender to that. And again, did I surrender? Sometimes. But it was the beliefs and values portion. I went to the University of Minnesota my freshman year, and you go to school, and you got a dorm, and you have no curfew, and you can get into any bar you want when you're 18 years old, and there's other females running around, and you're a hockey player. 95% of what you hear about hockey players and pro athletes is true, by the way. Don't let anyone fool you. The reason I say that is because when you don't lean on your beliefs and values, for me, I had to wait like 6 months and figure out, like, what are your beliefs and values, Eric? Like, where are you going? And I finally leaned into two things: my belief and value of work ethic and discipline, and also into, again, my faith. My faith, hockey ministries. I started to go to hockey ministries on Mondays, probably to confess my sins from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and not the right way. And I say this because I'm vulnerable, I'm honest, I'm like, this is who I am. And I realize now, looking back, the success I had at the University of Minnesota, 2-time captain, top 15 all-time leading scorer, top 10 in penalty minutes, because if I was losing, you were gonna know. And I was probably either getting suspended or I was in the penalty box the last 5 minutes of the game. But it went back to those beliefs and values that I had and that were planted on Wednesday night in CCD class. They were reconfirmed in confirmation. And they were trying to, right, harvest those seeds. Sometimes I was willing and sometimes I was unwilling. And the last pillar I talk about is the emotional pillar. I still struggle with this, right? Being emotionally vulnerable. My charity around mental health, I believe masculinity is vulnerability. Vulnerability equals masculinity. And we have a very hard time as men to do that. But when I look at the emotional, it's about who do you let rent space in your head? Having the ability to choose who you surround yourself with. I'm going to bet a lot of people in here I would choose to surround myself with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to grow stronger, right? Iron sharpens iron. And that's what you're here to do. That's what we're here to do in our life. And it's about living intentionally, living with intention. So for me, as I went through that hockey, that next phase, getting drafted by the Phoenix Coyotes, went to training camp. Who do I skate with in my first training camp? Wayne Gretzky. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, let's go. I got a contract. First one sent down to the minors is me. I want to be traded. I didn't deserve anything. It took me a whole 2.5 years to realize and have the self-awareness that I need to be intentional. Instead, I was hoping guys on my team in the NHL were getting hurt so I could play more, so I could get more money. It was disgusting when you look back, right? And I finally realized, like, who are you and how do you want to live and what would Jesus do? Right? What would Jesus do? And I finally realized that, went all in, made it to the NHL, played with the Phoenix Coyotes. My first game was against the Minnesota Wild, and I was able to sit there and say, you know what? My journey of what I dreamed out on those outdoor rinks came true, and it's not ironic that a lot of that aligned, right? The world part, right, of like discipline and hard work aligned with confirmation, and this aligned with this, and my marriage aligned with the first year I played in the NHL. And it's like not rocket science by any means, but someone like me, which my wife says, you're very smart to help businesses grow and to speak and to write books, but common sense, Eric, sometimes you're an idiot. And I'm like, I'll concur. I'm working. I'm imperfect. One perfect person has ever walked this earth, and it's not me. And I think that's when I look at the ultimate shift of being able to look at yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Today, we have an opportunity, right, to invest in ourselves. And when I look at that opportunity, I look at 1%. So the second book I wrote was around the 1% impact. What's 1% of 24 hours? Siri, it's like 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes. So if you can put 15 minutes in the psychological, physical, spiritual, and emotional, that's an hour a day. An hour a day, I guarantee it will change your life. I guarantee. It's changed my life dramatically. I've been able to look at like having the opportunity to surround myself with good people, to be able to look at it and say, hey, do you want to level up? And do you want to level up together? And I think that's what we have the opportunity to do tonight and also moving forward. And I'll leave you with this last piece here about failure, embracing discipline, and having success. For me, I was fortunate enough to get the call after my first year in the NHL to play for Team USA. Men's national team, World Championships, Olympics. We had to get a medal to be able to get out of the relegation spot. We played Team Sweden to go to the gold medal, and we lost. That's me getting my butt kicked. I did not prepare, I'll tell you that much. There's a common thread. I was out late. I had fun the night before, and we lost, right? Again, common sense, Eric. So the next night, got my sleep when we played Slovakia. And I don't know if this is working, but against Slovakia, I came to play. I cross-checked the guy in the face if it goes forward, right there, and I was ready to go. We tied the game after regulation. We were tied after overtime. What does it go to after that? Goes to a shootout, right? Shootout. They shot, they scored, we shot, we missed. They shot, we shot. It was 1-1 afterwards. The third shooter was picked, Marion Gaborik, who used to play for the Wild, shot, and he missed. Obviously was not on my team, Team USA. The coach tapped the kid from Apple Valley on the shoulder and said, hey, Eric, you're up. And I can't tell you like everything that flashed through my mind of skating on the outdoor rink, everything Mike Ruzioni. And I went down, and this is I faked left, faked right, and I scored to be able to celebrate the success as a team and individually. I say this all with humility, but you can see the thread of what I speak on with corporations, and I coach people through this, is like, yes, the world stuff is hard work, dedication, everything else, but it aligned with my faith. It aligned, in the end of the day, what I talk about a lot is like, what would Jesus do, right? And I wear bracelets sometimes to remind me when I'm struggling. I give them out. I talk to people about that. And again, I think now more than ever, we have an opportunity to be bold in your faith. Like, don't hide who you are. Lead with that. Lead in that space. And whenever I speak, I ask one of my kids, I say, hey, what do you want me to end with, or what do you want me to begin with? So my 5-year-old got picked tonight in the car at about 3:34 this afternoon. I said, what should I say, Evie? And she said, and I don't want to get emotional thinking this, but she told me, she said, Daddy, she said, Jesus made everyone special because they are all different. Right? And when I think of what some people are doing in our world, and I have my little 5-year-old saying that, like, how simple is that? You see a 5-year-old go to a playground, they're instantly friends with everyone. We see us, we label, we judge, we don't lead with our faith, we don't lead with our values, we don't go from a fixed to a growth mindset, and we just sit. And we have an opportunity to start tonight, right? To listen to Jesse and Melinda and their story and their charity, and to be able to move forward. And I know firsthand, like, the importance and the support. Mike, where's Mike in here? Are you in here, Mike? Right? So Mike's helping me through with my charity. Let's make a shift. And I know the difference that the coaches here make. And I know the difference that each one of you make, because I've seen it sitting in your seat. And as Andrea comes up to talk about what's happening going forward, I just want to urge you that you make a difference together, and that we can step up to go from average to elite, to speak about who we truly are as leaders and to move in that direction. So I want to thank you for the opportunity and appreciate it. Thank you. I forgot one thing. So they know outside. And last thing I forgot, so my books, I don't need the QR code, but I'll have them outside because everyone asks me after, where can I get a book, where can I get a book? So I'll put them out there with On Your Honor. It all goes to charity anyway. So thanks, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Eric. So Eric mentioned he is part of our Amp Up program. So that is for nonprofit leaders who are building an organization or have a dream to build an organization. And they're maybe not quite ready to even present here because they're still in such the formation stage. And that's really where Eric is with his nonprofit. And so he has a consultant, a business leader that's working alongside him one-on-one and coaching him. So that is one of our programs. So as you see on the screen, we have 3 programs at Amplify. I always like to share this because we have new people in the room. Plus, I think it's great for people to understand who are part of the Amplify community so you can speak about who we are and be ambassadors for our Amplify programs. But really, Amplify is about business leaders coming alongside nonprofit change makers so they stop working alone, but we start building together. And so we have 3 programs. I spoke about the Amp Up program that Eric is a part of. The Amp Journey program, the 2 nonprofit leaders who are going to be speaking tonight are a part of that program. And that's a 6 to 9 month journey. And so it starts 3 months previous to tonight. So before tonight, 3 business leader coaches have been working alongside those nonprofit leaders and really peeling back every layer of their organization, asking really hard questions. I've sat in those coaching sessions. They've done fantastic jobs. They're amazing coaches, and they've helped them build the presentations for tonight. And then after tonight, we're going to take all of your valuable ideas and connections, and we're going to work on an action plan with those nonprofit leaders to propel them forward. That is the whole goal, that they have amplified kingdom impact. And then our 3rd program, the AMP Academy, that is for nonprofit emerging leaders and mid-level managers in larger organizations to really learn how to lead themselves, to learn how to lead their teams and learn how to lead their organizations, because we believe strong leaders lead strong organizations, and that's what we're all about. We just kicked off our cohort, and we have our largest one yet with 38 nonprofit leaders. Super, super exciting. In fact, the 2 executive directors speaking here tonight are a part of that AMP Academy. So it's a huge growth opportunity for them as well. So in sharing with all of that, I want to take a moment to talk to you about how you can support Amplify. And that is, we have in 2 weeks, in case you didn't see it in any of our emails that we've been sending out, we have our fundraiser coming up. And it will be right here at Christ Presbyterian Church. It will be in the sanctuary. We have a phenomenal speaker that's going to be speaking, Harris III. He's a storyteller who talks about embracing wonder in life and business. But what I really want you to hear tonight is we only have one fundraiser a year. It is the only time that we really come together and ask for you to financially support all the programs that Amplify does. So it is really critical that we pack the sanctuary with people who care about Amplify and its mission. So we would love to have you there. We would so love to have you there. Or think about somebody that you could invite that would love to be there with you as we just continue to expand the people that should be championing this work. So tonight, to encourage you to register for Amplify's fundraiser, we have an opportunity for you to scan this QR code and get $15 off your tickets with the code WONDER. If you're somebody who likes to do it when you're back at your home on your computer, we do have an email that's hitting your inbox right now. So you can register, again, with the code WONDER for $15 off your ticket. So we would really love it if we can fill the room with people who love Amplify or are inspired by the work and just sitting in here tonight. Your presence really does matter. So thank you for that. All right, now we'll move on to the rest of the evening. And I'd love for everybody to pull out their feedback forms. Those are probably underneath yep, I see people finding them. So first, put your name on the top of that feedback form. Because what this is this is a place for you to write down encouragement, ideas, thoughts, and connections as the nonprofits present tonight. So this form goes into a summary report that we put together for the executive directors and help them taking those next steps. On the feedback form, you will see that there is a tangible needs box. There's two sides of the feedback form. One is for Elevate Hope House and the other is for the Urban Village. There's a tangible needs box that has all those needs for each nonprofit ministry that are listed. So if you are able to help with any of those, that's a place where you can easily check the box. As I mentioned to you, those nonprofits that are presenting tonight, they have been working alongside their business coaches. So we have a picture of all of these fabulous, amazing business coaches who've been working with these nonprofit leaders and helping them prepare for tonight. So a round of applause for these fabulous individuals. And it's so fun to watch because they not only give of their time and their expertise, but they truly give of their hearts to these executive directors. So now I have the joy of inviting up one of the coaches, Julie Hallgren, to introduce our first presenting nonprofit, Elevate Hope House.
Hello, welcome. It's my pleasure to introduce Melinda McDermott. Describing Melinda is like trying to describe light. You understand it best when you experience it. From the moment you meet her, you realize she has a rare gift. She sees people who need to be seen, welcomes them in with kindness, care, and hope. Through prayer and vision, she founded Elevate Hope House, and her accomplishments are nothing short of remarkable. What inspires me most about Melinda is her humility. She listens, she learns, and she grows with genuine joy and grace. Melinda is a natural connector. She brings people together, fosters community, and leads not to be recognized, but because her heart is dedicated to serving others. Along the way, she inspires everyone around her to join in the work of elevating hope. So please help me welcome Melinda McDermott to the stage.
It's really all right, we have to figure out the clicker. One second. Okay, here we go. All right, let's reset. Thank you, Julie, for that wonderful introduction. It's been such a blessing to work with you, as well as all of my coaches, Matt and Christine, and also our leaders here at Amplify. As she said, my name is Melinda McDermott, and I am just honored to be able to share with all of you that have taken time out of your busy day to learn about Elevate Hope House. Now, I'm going to ask all of you in the room to please just close your eyes with me for just a moment. As you close your eyes, I ask you to picture a college campus. I ask you to picture the excitement and the fun and the energy of college students meeting each other for the first time, coming with dreams and aspirations of what the future has in store for them. They're there to dream big, to make relationships, to learn and discover who God has called them to be in the future years ahead. But think about one girl who is on campus, who's so excited about what might lead in her future and her vision and what God is going to do and just doesn't know what that's going to be yet. But all of a sudden, a couple months in, starts to feel sick. Isn't sure why she's feeling sick and thinks back to 5 months earlier and a moment where she might in fact be pregnant. She calls a friend, asks her to pick up a pregnancy test at a local drugstore, actually asks her to pick up 2, just so we can tell if this is possible. They take the test together, and hers is definitely different than her friend's. Just think for a moment, that excitement she was feeling just 5 minutes earlier, what is that like now? Is she filled with sadness, dread, anticipation, anxiety, wondering what's going to happen next? Now open your eyes. And I will tell you that that was my story. my sophomore year of college at Bethel University, I found out that I was pregnant from an unfortunate situation. And what could have been the worst moment in my life for so many turned out to be exactly what God had planned for me and my future ahead. I just didn't know it. In fact, as I get these slides going, this is my kiddo, my Y. Now, literally, I'm so old, 18 years later, is actually starting. I was on Bethel at that time, and he is now starting at Bethel University as well. And I was so fortunate to have such a great support system. My family, my college professors, my friends, my community. I worked full-time, I went to school full-time, I graduated on time, all things that I assumed just should be a thing. But as I got older in my faith journey and in my maturity, I realized that's just not the case. And that is why we have founded Elevate Hope House. Good luck with this, Jesse, sorry. So, our origin story. In 2016, as I was leading kind of a career focused on business leadership, I felt God pull at my heart, maybe we should be shifting to what I have given you and what I have led you to experience to open a nonprofit. So we started a prayer team. In 2017, we started a 501c3 and had a founding board of directors to come alongside, each person having a reason they were drawn to Elevate, usually from their own personal experiences. And as we founded the organization, we started asking God, okay, we have people, we have an idea, we need to find funding, but what is next? And in 2018, we heard about a church that had a parsonage home in their backyard, and they were planning to tear it down. They gave us a call, we connected, and over several months of conversation, they reversed their decision and allowed us to rent it from them for $1 a year, as long as we put in the time and investment. It was such a blessing. And as you can see, 2018, 2019, what came next was the pandemic. But God was good. And as several organizations were closing doors on their nonprofits, he blessed us and allowed us to open doors in the middle of the summer to 3 families and their kids experiencing homelessness in the home we call Sandy's Place today. He has continued to bless us, and we are incredibly grateful. In fact, we moved our 16th mom into our Sandy's Place home just a few weeks ago. He has been good. And as we'll talk about further today, Joanne's Place was another blessing of a connection and relationship with local partners, and we opened our second home just this summer in July in 2025. And our third home, actually today, is getting started in the parking lot of Spring Lake Park High School by students who are learning how to build a home for their education. And so we'll share with you our mission and our vision. So as I've alluded to, our mission is to elevate hope for young single moms and their children in crisis by providing a safe home and an empowering support system, while each mom learns self-sufficiency and renews, restores, and regains her self-worth through the love of Christ. Our vision is for every young single mom to realize her self-worth and ensure that her children and generations to come feel loved, valued, and empowered to achieve their dreams. So our program, kind of high level, is a snapshot like this. Before Elevate, our moms come to us from any number of backgrounds, living in hotels like the one pictured here, living in tents, being in shelters, couch hopping, you name it. We've had a different background for each mom that has moved in with us. Once they come to us, we work on our program. Moms can stay with us as long as they want, but up to 2 years, what we call a hybrid transitional housing program. And then after that time period where they've been with us, working on their goals towards self-sufficiency and learning about Jesus, they move on prayerfully to a safe home of their own for them and their kids. More specifically, in our program, that time they're with us, we work on a number of things. Initially, we really focus on securing services. Not every mom intends to be there for the full amount of time, so we want to make sure when they come in, we're working on goals right away, and they're working on things like county assistance, childcare, getting therapy set up, all those pieces that are really important to them right out the gate. After they've solidified some time with us, we work on their program path. We choose from education or fully career focused with benefits. Not every mom intends to go to school again, and that's okay. We like to meet them where they're at. And then during that program path, we work on monthly goals. They work with an advocate and part of our staffing team to set goals each month that are attainable and achievable along the areas of anything from finance to personal goals to their faith goals. In fact, with us, our moms pay rent. I say that kind of in quotes because it's put into a savings account for them. So when they leave us, they can leave us with whatever they've put in so that they can have that first or last month's rent when they leave. Now, that's a lot from me, so let's just take a minute. We have two of our moms from the beginning that have actually taken a moment to share a little bit about their journey with Elevate, and we'll get to hear that now.
I'm Brittany, I'm 25, and I have a 9-year-old son named Leland. In 2020, I was in a hotel homeless with my son, and I had made a Facebook post describing my circumstances. A resident reached out and let me know about Elevate Hope House.
When I first heard about Elevate, I was living in a hotel with my daughter. When I met Melinda, she was very welcoming and she explained the program in good details where I could feel comfortable trying it out, especially with not having many resources or a support system.
I was sober for 6 months. That's the longest I ever got sober for. It was already really scary trying to just push through being homeless with a kid. When you had messaged me, it was just like some hope that I was gonna be okay, you know, because I literally did not know what I was gonna do. The best part about being in Elevate with my kid, our relationship just really, it grew a lot because we felt safe. I didn't have to worry about anything, and I could just focus on being a mom, being a good mom. It wasn't a situation where I felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I could do it. The things that they were asking us to do as goals were things that I would already want to reach for myself, and I reached a lot of goals at Elevate.
Without Elevate, I would have ended up in a shelter without a support system and would not have had the opportunity to provide my children with a better life. Today, I'm a single mom of 2 kids. I have a full-time job and a 4-year degree, and I am proud of myself today.
Yeah, you can clap. And that's just a brief snapshot of 2 of our families that we've worked with, ones that I still talk to this day, and I'm blessed to be a part of their lives even still. So how do we do what we do? We are faith-based. We kept Jesus at the center of what we do, so we are private donor-based. So it's kind of a snapshot of where all of our donations come in to make the operations happen, and we're just blessed to have individual givers, church organizations, you name it. We've been blessed to work with them, and we continue to grow those relationships into the future. And then all of that helps us operate literally the home. It's just like running one of your homes, right? We have to pay the bills. We have to keep the heat on, the lights on, get the groceries, all the things. And that's how these organizations help us support that. So our first home is Sandy's Place, again from 2020. That's seen 16 families to this time. We have it as a shared housing model. How it became was, as I mentioned earlier, a parsonage home that we took over, rented, and renovated with great volunteer labor from St. Patrick's Church and other organizations, in-kind donations from local businesses, and the funding we had started raising since inception. And now it operates 100% program funded. The goal is that every mom has the opportunity to take a breath, work on her goals, not worry about next month's rent while she is focused on her self-sufficiency path. And that's all, as I mentioned, we have some really great partnerships. These are a few that we'll highlight. Housing First Minnesota, some of them are in this room today, have come alongside us in the last couple of years, as has Spring Lake Park High School. Not only did they build our second home, Joanne's Place, but as I mentioned, they started building our third one today that will serve 6 families in the future. And also local businesses and national businesses like Anar Homes have started to come alongside us too and said, how can we help? What can we do to help make building homes and supporting families more affordable for a small organization like yours? And so Joanne's Place became our first affordable housing model. What we saw as a roadblock for our moms the last 5 years is they work so hard on their self-sufficiency goals, achieving their degree, whatever it might be that they were looking to obtain. But once they get to the end of their journey and they're ready, there just isn't a lot of opportunity where they can go next and land on their feet and feel successful and not go back to maybe where they came from in the first place. And so this became our first affordable housing model, where our mom, Megan, and her 2 kids that were in the video now live there and pay rent on a monthly basis. And she has that independence, but also has our support in the background and the community that has supported her throughout several years since she's been with us. And then Carol's Place is the one I mentioned that's starting today. So where Sandy's Place can do 3 moms at a time, this one is going to be twice the size by next fall. We're very excited because we get about 2 intakes a week, and it'll be great to be able to say yes more than we've been able to do so until this point. And so now our program vision has started to shift from the original. Now it's expanding to the concept of we desire for every mom that graduates to move into an affordable home in her community, a bridge from our program home to her own home, where the relationships she's built continue to ensure her and her children feel loved, valued, and empowered to achieve their dreams. And our program future kind of looks like this. We believe that if we have more land, materials, and operating funds, in fact, the land for Joanne's Place and Carol's Place was donated by a local camp so we could build these homes, we can achieve continued shared programming like Sandy's Place and Carol's Place, and prayerfully have additional affordable housing so that every mom that lives in one of our initial homes has a place to go. In the community, they've put down roots, they've built relationships, and they desire to continue to be a part of for years to come anywhere in the metro area. And so my ask is, how do we obtain the resources, land, materials, and operating funds to build and support 10 affordable homes in 5 years? Thank you.
Beautiful job. Beautiful job. And it wasn't you. The clicker is not working. It's not you.
She said to press really hard. I thought it was.
So I'm going to take it. So Jesse, we're going to do the slides for you from the back. But we have a couple of minutes for the whole room to ask some questions of Melinda. Just know that we might not get to every question, and that Melinda, during the brainstorming time, will be walking around to help answer some of those questions as well. But just some questions from the room. If right now we can take a couple, if there is anybody who has a question. Yes, Joe. Let me repeat it. Is there site criteria for the land?
No. I mean, it depends, honestly, on the city. For example, primarily our homes right now are in Ham Lake, and the city ordinance required us a minimum of 1 acre per home. So it depends on the city, but we will work with whatever.
Okay, awesome. Yes? What is your current budget and how much are you trying to raise?
Yes, so the house project we're doing right now with Carol's Place is estimated at $400,000 to pull together, with the land already being donated. We are thankful to have those partners, as mentioned. They're going to help us with those costs and in-kind donations, so that we're prayerful we can do a home like this at like 1/4, 1/3 the cost, which will allow us to multiply as we go forward and build awareness and growth. Our ask right now is more about, you want to go back to the
Can you
ask?
go back
Yeah.
to the ask slide, Marie? That would be great.
So our ask specifically is getting your ideas from the room on how do we obtain the resources, land, materials, and operating funds. So all 3, so that we can continue this vision of being able to have 10 affordable homes in 5 years, so every mom has a place to land. I'd love $400,000, but that's not what we're asking today. We're just asking for your guidance and support.
Yeah, so maybe somebody knows of land. Maybe somebody knows of more materials. She's obviously been blessed with so many organizations that have come around her with that. And then obviously generating the operating funds, right, to continue to support their mission. And maybe you have some really outside the box ideas for that, for Melinda. That's what we're looking for.
Construction partners have been really big for us this year, so even just donating siding will make it work, right? Roofing tiles, anything is a really great opportunity, and if you know construction companies, they can actually come on site at SLP and show them how to do the things and recruit possible students that want to get into the trades as well. It's very full circle.
Yep, John? So
Sure.
only looking at new construction and only looking at single-family homes.
Okay, first question, not necessarily only new construction. Right now, the relationship with SLP, that's kind of what we do. However, the opportunity to do a rehab home or take over like another parsonage would be a huge blessing, and we find really fun in the community to build relationships faster if we're coming in and being supported right out the gate too.
Yes.
What's the criteria you need to have in order to consider the land that's around? What kind of resources need to be around? Does it need to be within the city's area?
What resources need to be around the land and what kind of geographical area?
Yeah, great question, one we've talked about as well. Right now, I have very part-time staff, plus myself, running the operations. So we're in the Ham Lake area right now, but we're limited more to just the whole metro. Whatever opportunity comes up tonight or in the future, we want to embrace it and see what we can do. Our board is actually spread out as south as even Prior Lake, right, Lori? So we have ways and dreams of how can we just support the community in need around us.
Yep, one more question. Is there another question? Yes. How did you establish the relationship with Spring Lake Park, and could that be replicated?
Literally, I got a phone call. And so they heard about us and that we had some really great funding that we were hoping to use to expand and reached out. They built their first home. We couldn't take it at that time without land, and now they're hoping we can keep going each year. So it's possible to replicate. There are coaches actually getting excited about this at the high schools with what we've done the last year, so we're prayerful it will. And someone on our board actually does that with Lennar to help teach how to do that.
Awesome. Okay, Melinda will be walking around during brainstorm time so she can answer more questions then. I would love to invite, oh yes, we can give a round of applause for Melinda. All right, I'm going to invite up now Dan Bowles, who has been one of the fabulous coaches working alongside our next executive director. Dan, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrea. Great to be with you this evening. And it's been such a joy learning about the urban village. This has been just an amazing experience for us. In a couple of minutes, you'll hear from the founder and director of the urban village, Jesse Fino. The Fino name is well known at Christ Presbyterian Church. Pastors Rich and Jody Fino served for over 30 years on staff here. And Rich and Jody and their children, Jesse, Josh, and Kirsty, are much beloved here. For some of the years that they were on staff, I was on staff along with Rich and Jody. Just a quick memory, we had a staff event involving families, touch football game. Jesse makes a move, leaves me in the dust, scores a touchdown. Not a happy memory, Jesse. He would have been in 8th grade, which, me. With my fellow coaches, Chris and Anna, one of the meetings that we had with Jesse was at the facility for Urban Village in St. Paul. We met other members of the team, also met some of the youth who are involved in the program. Really gave us a true sense of the wonderful ministry that is happening there. Perhaps now more than ever, our world really needs a sense of hope and community. The urban village is a place where that happens for the Karen and Karen youth and their families, hope and community. Jesse and his team are amazing examples of what can happen when people are committed to follow Jesus' commandment that we love our neighbor. Please join me in welcoming Jesse Fino.
Man alive, well, what an honor it is to be here in front of you. Again, I just want to thank Dan, but the rest of my coaches and the folks at Amplify. This has just been a real incredible experience, and I'm really humbled and honored to be here with you tonight. A little home court advantage, that helps too, but thank you guys. So. As was mentioned, my name is Jesse Fino. I'm the founder of the Urban Village in East St. Paul. And I'm going to get to a few stories about the Urban Village, but as you already know, I want to bring you into what is a full circle moment for me. They say it takes a village to raise a child. And when I think about this place and I look at tables like this one, I got to tell you guys that this is the village that raised me. My mom and dad, as you know, were pastors here for 35 years. There's no words that can describe the depth, the gratitude that I have for the foundation that this village and my parents laid for me. See, my mom and dad, they're not just any old pastors. They were congregational care pastors, church social workers, if you will. Friends, I got a lot of great memories of doing church social work here. But I got to tell you, there's some difficult ones as well. I'll never forget, there's one conversation I had with my dad after visiting a family that had just lost a son. I looked at him, I said, Dad, how do you know what to say in those moments? How do you know what to do? My dad looked at me, he said, Jess, it's not about saying the right things. Folks almost never remember what you said, but they remember that you were there. It's about showing up. It's about leading from the heart. Oh, sorry. So I want to fast forward here. I'm 21 years old. We're a ways down in my story. I'm on my first day of volunteering with a local resettlement organization, Arrive Ministries. I'm sitting on the living room floor of a family of 8. They had just resettled from a refugee camp in Thailand. This is a Karen family, a heavily persecuted minority group from the country of Burma. So there I was. It's my first day. I'm excited. And then the interpreter leaves. And I realize this family doesn't speak any English. And guess what? I didn't speak any Karen. I didn't know what to do. I definitely didn't know what to say. But see, I remembered what my village had taught me. It's not about what you say. It's about showing up. It's about leading from the heart. So I figured I had done the hard work already of showing up. So I said a little prayer, and I did what my heart told me to do, which was to start a WWE wrestling match with those 6 little boys. Friends, what happens after that wrestling match is truly indescribable. Over the next months, that family and I went from being strangers to friends to eventually becoming family. That first year, we spent a ton of time together. They often came to Bethel for football games. The boys and I would go on little adventures around the city. And they would even join my family for holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Now, some of you will know this. Looking at those pictures, our very first Thanksgiving as one big family together happened right here in this very room. I can see it about right there. The story is going to put me over the time, but my mom's not here, so I had to tell it. My mom thought it was a good idea that Thanksgiving to buy these guys sock and boppers. You guys remember those? Blow-up punching mitts, if you will. And she, right here, literally, I can see it right here. She set up the little punching bag. And it took about 12 seconds for them to ditch the punching bag and start an all-out melee right here in this room. Friends, I can't even tell you how many birthdays this big family of mine has shared together. I've lost count. But there's one that I'll never forget, and that's the day that their 7th son was born. I was one of the first people to get to hold him in my arms. Here's something crazy. Fast forward a couple years. These guys are in my wedding, and now they're holding my baby. That same baby in the picture that I'm holding, he's holding my kid. A fun fact for you guys, in 2018, this family and I bought a duplex together in East St. Paul. For 5 years, we lived as direct up and down neighbors. One household, one big family. See, living with this family, it gave me a front row seat, not just to see their resilience as refugees, but to notice the challenges of navigating life in a new country, a new language, new expectations, and a history of trauma that is truly difficult to imagine. For those who are unfamiliar, the Karen people are an ethnic minority from Burma, also called Myanmar, a country that is still experiencing the world's longest running civil war. There are generations there that have known nothing but violence, displacement, and persecution. Friends, I gotta tell you, I've seen this with my own eyes. And this is a story for a different day, but there was a couple years ago, I was bringing rice to a group of Karen villagers that had just recently been displaced, and a mortar hit the ground just a couple yards from where my team was. It shook the ground underneath my feet, but if I'm being honest with you guys, it shook me a layer deeper. This is not something that is happening in the history books. Innocent villagers are still being targeted and killed in Burma for no reason. It's happening right now. This is a picture of me in a Karen church that just a year before this picture I had worshiped in. That church got bombed with people in it. In 11 days, I'm jumping on a plane with my brother Eller. We're going back into Burma to continue to serve people there. And I got to tell you, I got some people in my life, they've called me crazy for wanting to do it. But I think they're right. Because I got to tell you guys, I'm crazy about the well-being of my neighbors. Did you know that Minnesota has become home to over 20,000 refugees from Burma, most of them Karen? Most families in Minnesota came from refugee camps after spending decades in the refugee camp, or in limbo, sorry. And while many have found safety and opportunity here, resettlement is not the end of the struggle. In fact, from my vantage point, it's just the beginning of a whole new one. It was out of these struggles that the Urban Village was born. In 2019, I founded the Urban Village, a nonprofit rooted in the belief that whether it's a jungle in eastern Myanmar or the concrete jungles of East St. Paul, it takes a village to raise a child. Our mission is simple: to accompany Karen youth as they connect, heal, and launch. Located in the heart of the Karen diaspora in St. Paul, this urban village envisions a generation of youth who are rooted in their identity, on a journey of healing and launching into becoming their ancestors' wildest dreams. We got a small but mighty team of 4 full-time staff, and we have a host of stipend mentors, big brothers and big sisters in the Karen community. Since 2019, we have grown our donor base to about 75 monthly contributors. We've secured funding from 12 local foundations, and we've landed a handful of state, county, and city contracts. Our annual operating budget is just shy of $500,000, and we have about $700,000 in reserves right now. Thanks to the incredible generosity of our landlords, we use only $1 a year towards our rent. We currently have 4 board members, some of them in the house tonight, and we know that this is an area in which we need to grow. We have 3 main programs at the Urban Village. We run our mentorship program on Wednesday nights, where we pair our most high-risk youth with young adult mentors, big brothers and big sisters from the Karen community. I want you to think treehouse, but specific for kids from our community and kids who are really battling things like truancy, substance abuse, and the inertia of gangs. Then we have our tutoring program, where we walk alongside struggling students and we try to get them to graduate on time. We actually have a contract with St. Paul Public Schools now. This allows us to go into the schools to work directly with the students there. And then we have our outdoor program, which is led by our brother Elatha, where we take students out of the city and into nature through camps, Boundary Waters experiences, and summer adventures that stretch their imagination for what's possible for their lives. Most of the youth that we serve are referred to us by schools, the St. Paul Police Department, or probation officers from the Ramsey County Juvenile Detention Center. These aren't just programs, friends. These are platforms for healing, transformation, and hope. Now, let me prove that to you. I want to show you a picture from our summer camp that happened just about a month ago. Notice the guy that we've circled in the black headband. His name is Sa. He's a junior in high school this year. When we first met Sa, he was in and out of the juvenile detention center. He was struggling with the inertia of violence. Our staff got connected through his parole officer, and we started walking alongside him. Earlier this summer, Sa reoffended. He stole a car, and he ended up in the Carver County Jail. Instead of giving up, Kazia, our co-director, continued to show up, visiting him, often driving him back and forth to his probation check-ins. This summer, his parole officer allowed him to come to our summer camp. At first, he resisted. He complained about not having any Wi-Fi. He refused to participate in activities, and this dude was a jerk to his mentor. But here's a picture from just the last few days of camp. This is Sa, smiling, engaged, belonging. See, friends, I want you to know something. When a kid walks through our doors at the urban village, we don't see a good kid or a bad kid. We see our kid. Because this community is our village. We take seriously the responsibility to protect, nurture, and love every single kid that comes through those doors, no matter their circumstances, no matter their past. Take a look at these. This is not a picture of a car thief. This is a picture of a kid being accompanied by an older brother figure as he sings a redemption song. This is Sa choosing hopeful alternatives and becoming his ancestors' wildest dreams. But friends, here's the reality. Sa is just one story among many. Since 2022, we've lost 8 kids to the opioid crisis in our community. 165 Karen youth have been arrested for weapons, assault, drugs, and even homicide. I don't come to you tonight sharing these statistics as leverage. This is lament. Because while there's so much beauty, strength, and resilience in this community, there's also a growing hopelessness among its youth. We see trends of youth abandoning school, engaging drugs, and choosing violence. From our intimate vantage point, we believe we've reached a critical moment in the story of this generation. But friends, we don't see this moment as a dead end. This is our defining chapter in the work of the urban village. But to meet this moment, friends, the urban village must grow. There are about 2,500 Karen students currently in St. Paul Public Schools. In any given year, we work with about 100 of those kids. That's less than 5%. This is a picture of our current space with about 30 people in it, and I got to tell you, when you start pushing 50, it gets a little noisy. But don't hear me wrong. Our goal is not to reach 2,500 kids. We know we can't serve a critical mass at the urban village. So instead, we're hoping to develop a critical yeast. I want you to think of bread baking. Yeast, the smallest ingredient, when nurtured and mixed in, has the capacity to make everything else around it rise. But developing a critical yeast in youth requires a much different intentionality. It requires intimate spaces for hard conversations about addiction. It requires quiet spaces for youth to sound out words without the fear of judgment. It requires warm spaces, maybe a kitchen where the smells and flavors of your people root you in your belonging. We don't just need more space at the urban village. We need different space. Space that will allow us for more meaningful and personal connection with each and every single one of our students. Our current space is free to us, friends, but it doesn't offer that. But here is how we know that God sees and cares about the work of this village. Last year, we were gifted the house that is directly behind our current building. Now, as you can tell, the house itself, it's in pretty rough shape. But this opportunity is enormous. Over the next 2 years, we want to develop this home to become the place where we can cultivate that critical yeast. The place where 100 Karen youth will rise, graduate high school, and launch into becoming their ancestors' wildest dreams. I want to watch Saw as he walks across the graduation stage, grabs his diploma, and steps into God's purpose for his life with a smile on his face and an entire village at his back. I believe that this property and our growth as an organization is key to that vision. So what do we need to do to get there? That's why I'm here. I'm hoping that y'all will help us find those answers because I'm not entirely sure, but I do have 3 hunches. I think we're going to need some board members with skills and experience in the direction that we are heading in this next year. I know we're going to need, at some point, a capital campaign. But to be honest, I've never done one. I'm not too sure how to go about it. Lastly, I think we're going to need to add another staff member. But right now, the timing and the role are still unclear to me. Friends, the urban village is showing up tonight. We are leading from the heart. And we are trusting that God has put the right people in this room to help guide us into this next season of growth. So, beloved village leaders, here is my question for you. How can the urban village quickly build the organization required in the next year to meet the opportunity of this new property? Thank you guys so much.
I hope I guided you into this enough earlier this evening that you were just going to be inspired. Are you just blown away by Melinda and Jesse? Yes, amazing. So just for the purpose of time, we are just going to take a couple of questions for Jesse. So if you have a question, love to take that from the room. Yes.
What are your plans with the home? What are you going to do with it? You said bring 100 people in. Is it a place a bigger just facility to work in? You have a meeting that you're showing in the picture or what?
Plans for that home that we saw.
Yeah, so right now our current space is really just like an open room, just like this. And so I think with the house, what we're trying to develop, and believe me, it's going to need a lot of developing because it's pretty run down inside. We're hoping to create some more intimate spaces, some spaces where we can have things like small groups and tutoring sessions and, like I said, a kitchen maybe would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, great question. Anybody else? Oh, sorry. Thank you, thank you. Yes. Can you repeat it? Did you hear it or not?
Let me repeat it one time. Sorry. Yeah. Oof, a lot of challenges. Thank you for that question.
So looking for needs on financial tracking and reporting, I think I can answer it really quickly, is you're looking for just somebody who knows budget really well, help you with accounting, setting it up so that you can understand where you are today and then how you grow in the future with your budget.
Absolutely. Yeah, the reporting piece too is a big one for sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. Jesse's going to be walking around, and he'll be able to answer any of the questions that you have during the brainstorm time, which is where we're going to next. Before you get up and move for brainstorm time, those of you who know that we do give permission for that, I want to just give you some of the instructions for that. So this is a great time for you to throw away your trash. Remember, we do have some recycling here as well. We would love for you to move to a new table. We have Elevate Hope House that's on this side. We have the Urban Village on this side. Great opportunity for you to meet new people to do that. Please do this transition as soon as possible so that we can maximize our 30 minutes of brainstorm time together. And this is the key that I want you all to hear. On your brainstorm time, make sure that you're giving really detailed, specific instructions. So not the high level, but really detailed instructions. Like I'm walking a path and I can relate to what's all around me because the instructions or suggestions are so specific. So thank you for that. We will now take our time to break into brainstorming. Thank you so much for all of your ideas. Thank you so much for all of your ideas. You are a gift. We're going to try to wrap this evening. If you have an additional idea that you didn't get a chance to share, please write that on the feedback form because we will incorporate that. And I'll give you another opportunity about how you can share some more ideas too. So just a couple of closing announcements. First, I just want to let you know that those postcards that are on your table for our fundraiser, again, that's 2 weeks away. We would love to have you there. There is a QR code on the postcard to buy tickets. You will have an email in your inbox to buy tickets as well. So with the code WONDER, $15 off, we'd love to have you there. That would be very meaningful for all of us. Survey cards. If you haven't had a chance to fill one out, they are in the center of your table. We do take those very seriously. Your feedback tonight. So I'd love for you to take one, pass it around your table, and fill that out. It does help us become better, and we always can do that. Also, I just want to let you know that we have an opportunity for you to dig deeper into Amplify. If you have a question about how you can get involved as a business leader coach or a mentor or a consultant, we have an opportunity on Tuesday morning next week for you to join our volunteer coordinator, Steph, on a call to hear a little bit more about those opportunities. I'll just highlight one. As I mentioned, we kicked off our AMP Academy. That is for nonprofit leaders. We do pair a mentor which with each participant in that AMP Academy. And some of them get assigned in the spring. So we'll be looking for mentors for one-on-one opportunities to pour in. Jesse will be one of them, and Melinda will be one. So if that's something that you think that you would like to do, if you just stop at the volunteer table on your way out, you can let them know, or you can put that on your survey card too. And we'll plug in, or we'll connect with you about that opportunity in the beginning of next year. All right, so this is really fun. We have our AMP accelerators coming up. So if you didn't get a chance to talk to Melinda enough tonight or Jesse tonight, or you have more ideas and you want to really hear their action plan of how they're going to take your ideas from tonight and where they're going to go next, please join us for the AMP accelerators next week. They're on Wednesday and Thursday morning from 8 until 9. The executive directors are really going to guide you through, hey, we got all these great ideas, but we can't do them all, but these are the 3 to 5 next steps that we're going to do, and we still need your input or your resources or your help. And then if you didn't get a question answered, that's another great time for you to just join that. So there's a place to RSVP on your form. On your feedback form, you can just check the box that you'll be coming, and we'll make sure to get you the Zoom link for that AMP Accelerator next week. Our next AMP session in November is not going to be here. We are taking Amplify on the road for a shorter, more focused format, featuring not just one time option, but 2 time options. So we have a breakfast opportunity from 8 to 9:30. We have a lunch session from 11:30 to 1. And we are going to not be here, as I mentioned. We're going to be at King Technology in Minnetonka. They are hosting us for that, and we will have the same nonprofit presenting both times, the Hospitality Center, Josh Driver. So you will be getting an email about that, and we'd love for you to be able to RSVP and join us for our next AMP session coming up in November as well. And as we have been shining the light on our volunteers all night, and I mentioned that we can't do it without our volunteers, we have a special award for 2 volunteers in the room tonight, and I hope they're still here, Barb Shimshock and Rick Ponthan. So please come up, Barb. They've attended a total of 47 events. Thank you. So they're going home with a Schuler's gift card, so thanks to that partnership with Schuler's. And 2 new people in the room tonight, 2 new attendees, also get a prize. So just a moment. You also get a Schuler's gift card. So I'm going to draw names of 2 new attendees in the room tonight. You're going home also with a Schuler's gift card. And the first one goes to Luke Erickson. Luke Erickson, woohoo! All right. Now you have to come back. Now you have to come back. All right, and the second one goes to Neil Calhoun. Neil. Is Neil still here? No, he's not still here. Okay, the people in the back are telling me no. Okay, so one more. Jack Reed. No. Okay, goodness. Okay. Carrie Mesh. What am I doing? Okay, the new people left. Okay, that. Okay, yeah. The person sitting next to Meg on the right is going home with the Schuler's gift card. It's good to sit at Meg's table tonight. All right. Okay. A couple of last items. We do have some Amplify merch. Super exciting. We have Amplify merch. This was put together by Rejoice Apparel, who presented at Amplify another time. They serve women in Pakistan, so they employ women in Pakistan. They make those sweatshirts. So your donation of $100 tonight helps support Rejoice Apparel, helps support Amplify. So those are in the lobby, multiple sizes. So if that's of interest to you, that is something that you can stop by and get on your way out. There will be the books from Eric. And also there is Elevate Hope House has some materials out there. You can stop and see them as well. Please pick up your feedback form and your survey card. There's a place to put them in the box on the way out the door tonight. We are so incredibly grateful you came tonight. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ideas. We're grateful for you.